In a world full of conventional Hollywood cliches and recurring lackluster sequels, one critic has seen it all, who can provide you with all the movie news, opinions, and reviews that could very well save humanity as we know it. This is Libby's Movie Hunt. And now, your host, Libby Hunt.
Hello, welcome to Libby's Movie Hunt. I'm your host, Libby Hunt, along with Kevin E.
Hey, Libby, how are you?
My precious co-host and our producer, Jansen, over there.
Hey, guys.
He's going to chime in every once in a while and talk movies with us, too.
He's the resident Spider-Man expert.
Oh, good. We need you young guys to talk about these Marvel films. Okay, so the first film, welcome everybody. We're here every Friday. You can find us on YouTube. Please subscribe to YouTube, Facebook, iTunes, and we're at On Air Media. We'll plug that more later.
We're always switching. Yeah, we always have a new name. You know, it's hard to keep track of everything.
But always find us here on Fridays. Okay, the first movie we're going to talk about is Spider-Man. Last week, Kevin and I were talking that there aren't that many good summer movies. Really, Baby Driver and Wonder Woman are the really only...
I mean, that's pretty much it. Although I actually really enjoyed it, and I forgot to mention this on the last show, 47 Meters Down.
Loved it.
That was very good.
Loved it. I mean...
Underappreciated, for sure.
Very good shark movie. You liked it better than the one with Blake Lively?
The Shallows.
The Shallows. I liked The Shallows better.
Yeah. I just thought in 47 Meters Down, the sharks looked more real.
Yeah.
The shark in The Shallows looked really CG. It almost felt like sci-fi, like Sharknado qualities sometimes.
But The Shallows, Blake Lively was so gorgeous, and the scenery was so gorgeous. This one was
cool.
Dark and underwater most of the time, so
Very
it visually wasn't as pretty.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I think the difference.
I think we both said, too, there were times where you wondered, like, is there a way I can turn up the brightness? Because
it seemed a little dark.
Yeah.
But my dad and brother and the kids went to see it, and they really liked it. But nothing compares to Jaws when you talk about a shark movie.
No way.
There's
I've already
nothing.
watched it twice this summer.
Yeah.
I'll probably watch it 2 more.
You're
yeah.
so cute, y'all. My listeners out there,
Jaws.
Kevin has things that he has to see over and over at certain times of the year.
Yep.
Whether it's Christmas movies or Halloween movies. It's just,
summer.
I'm a little bit that way.
Yep. I watch Jaws every summer, probably 4 times.
Do you like Shark Week?
I love Shark Week.
Yeah, I do too. It's really fun. The Sharknado movies kill me.
Yeah.
They're so funny.
I love Sharknado, love Shark Week, pretty much anything sharks. I'll even watch the Jaws sequels that are horrible when they're on
I know. I like them. Did you ever see this movie called Piranha with, he's so funny. He's married to that beautiful Rebecca Romaine.
Are you talking about Piranha 3D?
That John Stamos used to be married to her, but
with Adam Scott and Piranha 3D.
No, it's Piranha, and he's I cannot think of his name. He almost was going to be on Regis and Kelly like a co-host. Why am I blanking? I'll find out in a minute. But that movie, please look the recent Piranha. It came out about 5 or 6 years ago.
I think I know the one you're talking about.
It's so. Everybody is just, it's a bloodfest.
Is Jerry O'Connell in that?
Jerry O'Connell.
That's it, yeah.
But something happens in it that we'll talk about after the show.
Yeah, let's just say it relates to a masculine extremity.
Yes, do you know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
But you can't even believe how funny it is.
Yeah.
Like how it's done. You're like, this is so gross, but it's
and when it came out, it was in 3D, so you could see it right in front of your face. It was nuts.
Do you know that movie, Jansen?
No, I don't.
Oh my God.
There's also a sequel, Piranha 3 Double D, which isn't as good, but
and that was a mainstream movie?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, mainstream. I
saw both in the theater.
Yeah, no, the night Piranha came out, I was like, I have got to go see that. I was there. I went to a theater that was far away. God,
there was that great Jaws callback at the beginning. You have Richard Dreyfuss in the boat. Like that was awesome.
I know.
Wearing the clothes from Jaws. I loved that.
Oh, it was so funny. Oh my gosh. How we got up on that tangent? Well, we were talking about Baby Driver, Wonder Woman. We loved. I loved The Beguiled, but now we're talking about Spider-Man: Homecoming, and got 94% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Which is, I want to say it's the highest rated Spider-Man of all of them, yeah.
So I was so pumped to see it. It's directed by John Watts, who Kevin said he did Cop Car. I'm not familiar with his films.
I think it was a straight to DVD, but I actually really enjoyed that movie, and I think it's streaming right now if you want to check it out. But basically, it has Kevin Bacon as the villain, and he's a cop, and these kids find a cop car, and it's a thriller, and he's kind of hunting them down. It's actually really cool.
Was it in the theaters?
I don't think so.
Because I don't remember. I don't remember that.
It's one like the Bloodfather, I think, where I ended up just dialing it up somehow.
Okay, well, I still need to see that. But this movie, had the young kid,
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland. He's a cute kid. He's playing like a 15-year-old in it.
Yeah.
The new Spidey.
You're talking like going back to the beginning.
He's a kid. And Michael Keaton plays the villain, the Vulture. Marissa Tomei plays his Aunt May. Robert Downey Jr. plays Tony Stark for Iron Man again. He just melts me. I love him. He's just so cocky. He's such a great actor.
Perfect casting.
And then Jon Favreau, who directed the first Iron Man, has a part in it as
Happy
Happy.
Hogan. Yeah.
So tell us, Kevin, and Jansen, you chime in too if you want to, about I saw the film and it confused me.
Okay.
So help me to
break it down a
understand
little.
it. Break it down.
Okay, so it starts off. It takes place after the very first Avengers and the war, or not the war, but the battle in New York City. And so basically, what Michael Keaton's character, he owns a company that does like cleanup and that kind of stuff, disposal of, they were overrun basically by Tony Stark's company who does that.
Okay.
So it kind of muscled him out, which is how he ends up getting involved in the weapons design and that stuff. But that's just the villain origin.
And I have to say, Michael Keaton, I loved in it.
Michael Keaton's fantastic.
Fantastic in it. Okay.
But what really, and I always have like disclaimers for these, what really drives this movie forward and is the fact that it's part of the new MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Okay.
I mean, the fact that it ties into Avengers and it has Tony Stark in it, to me, is really what carries the whole movie. But it takes place, obviously, he was in, Spider-Man first appears in Captain America Civil War. He teams up with the Tony Stark side, and that's how he gets the Tony Stark Spider-Man suit and all of that stuff. So essentially, you have the mix of he's being mentored by Tony Stark, but is not a full member of the Avengers. Michael Keaton is starting these weapon design things, while Spider-Man is also trying to cope with the life of being a teenager and a high school student.
Right.
And that, that's kind of the whole sets the stage for it.
But what I don't understand, you're trying to explain to me, is this a whole other universe? Because like, where are Spider-Man's aunts and uncles, and now why is he a teenager, not like Tobey Maguire's age?
I believe Homecoming is a complete rebooted story, meaning there's no connection to the previous.
And Mary Jane,
and it's not an origin story like The Amazing Spider-Man and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. No Mary Jane, or I can't even think of her name. Emma Stone's character in The Amazing Spider-Man. Jansen, what is it? His other love interest.
Oh, so she's not Mary Jane?
Who's the police captain's daughter?
That's the one he kisses upside down, or is that
That's Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst.
It doesn't matter.
Well, also Zendaya, the singer, is in it. She plays one of his little friends, and I thought she was underutilized, but they made you think she's going to be in the next one.
Well, actually, Mary Jane was in Spider-Man.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
You find out at the end that it's the chick that's in detention with him.
That it's Zendaya.
Oh, is that who you're talking about? Oh,
she's Mary Jane.
And then they had Bryce Dallas Howard as Gwen Stacy in Spider-Man 3. So it's weird how they mix and match these characters and take them in and out. But,
right. So
But no Mary Jane in Spider-Man Homecoming.
I know, but I thought it ran a little too long. What'd you feel?
I didn't think if it ran long at all. But
it felt to me, the beginning and end I loved. Right somewhere in the middle, I was a little bored.
You got bored.
And there's a little end. I love Gwyneth Paltrow pops in at the end. Pepper?
Yes.
Wasn't that her name? I'm just crazy about that Iron Man character.
So are we talking around the time where there's the whole academic decathlon and that whole thing there? Is that when you started to get...
Something. I got up and went to the restroom. I'm like, I'm a little bored. I'm kind of bored.
When you don't mind getting up and going to the bathroom, then that is an indicator for sure.
That wasn't good for me.
See, a lot of people felt that way about the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man films.
Yeah, I didn't love them. I liked the Tobey Maguire ones the best.
I liked the first one. I thought the Green Goblin was a great villain in that one. I liked the second one. I thought Dr. Octopus was great. The third one, they really dropped the ball by trying to cram way too much into it with Sandman and Venom and...
That's true.
I'm not even naming all of them. There's like 6 villains in it.
I guess I saw it.
And they really did not do Venom justice. Venom is a character that's a fan favorite from the comics. Everyone was like dying to see on screen, and then they have Topher Grace, and it was just a mess.
Yeah.
It just didn't work. But
when the old guy who's like 90-something who did the Marvel comics, it has
Stan Lee.
Stan Lee is in it again.
Yep.
That's now I'm starting to recognize him, and they kind of showed him on the screen twice. So
they always make sure to sneak him in. I'm kind of surprised. I thought the plot was very fast paced.
So I think though him being a 15-year-old teenager that couldn't even drive yet was a cute little part. I think that's a good for the young viewers.
Yeah.
Don't you? I thought that's going to get even more kids there.
I think it's the first time that the Spider-Man character on the big screen feels like a young kid.
Right.
Where,
Totally.
You know, I mean,
They try and make you think they're young, but it's really a 29-year-old playing it.
especially with Tobey Maguire, because he was just
Exactly.
an older guy who happened to look young.
Exactly.
But he was in his like mid-30s when he was being
He
Spider-Man.
was. He looked like he did look like a baby. But I thought this kid is good.
Very
He's
good.
Great actor. Because
he and
surprised me.
Robert Downey Jr. have a great on-screen chemistry.
Very good chemistry. So I give it mildly popcorn worthy, but I know you're going to say over the top popcorn worthy.
I'm going to say over the top popcorn worthy.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. And I really think what sold me on it was the fact that it's part of the Avengers and the Iron Man tie-in and all that. And for
Yeah.
people who are big Avengers and Iron Man fans, you actually get to see a pretty good amount of Iron Man in
No,
this.
that
So
excites. Well, I wanted to see him more.
Yeah.
You're right. That was my favorite part of it.
It's always cool seeing Tony Stark as Iron Man.
I know. Michael Keaton, I thought that was interesting to have him kind of almost as a superhero because he played
Because
Batman.
he was Batman, yeah.
And also he did the movie Birdman about a person on the theater that had been a superhero star.
Yes. And it's kind of funny, Vulture, Birdman, like
Yeah,
they
I
all
thought it
kind of
was
tie in
interesting.
Batman. It's weird.
He's very watchable, Michael Keaton and Robert Downey Jr. Certain actors I can't get enough of, and that's why they're movie stars. They
Yes.
just have that charisma.
And Michael Keaton's one of those guys like Edward Norton, who's just over the top talented, but will go through a period where you don't see him in a movie for like 10 years.
That
and then
happened
they
to
pop
Michael
back
Keaton.
up, and you're like, oh my God,
You're
I
like,
forgot
yay.
how great he is.
That's how I felt about John Travolta when he got his reboot in Pulp Fiction.
Yep.
I was
Yeah,
like so
exactly.
excited to see him on the screen again. So that's fun. But it was good.
All right, I got to ask Jansen, what did you not like
Yeah.
about it?
Did you see it?
You know, I kind of agree with you. It got slow in the middle, and that's kind of where I zoned out too. Now, I think my biggest problem is I saw it at Studio Movie Grill and
Yes.
ate a lot of food.
Yeah,
did too.
that distracts you.
And so, like, halfway through, I'm tired, and
Do you
it
know-
was a little long. You're right.
That's funny because I was a little bit tired. I was eating dinner. That could have been it.
Maybe you guys just needed to go classic and get
Yeah.
popcorn and a drink and just,
You know where I cannot
Dive
go
in.
watch a movie is the Inwood Movie Theater. I like it, but they have couches, those love sacks.
Yep.
And I get so comfortable that like I want to go to sleep.
Can I tell y'all where I actually prefer to go see movies? And we go all the time. In fact, I was a little disappointed I didn't do it this time. In this drive-in.
Oh, I've always wanted to go to a drive-in.
Oh, it's great.
I've seen it before. I've never actually been though. That's awesome.
I mean,
love
I grew up
going-
going to drive-in.
You just tune your car to the frequency.
You just
and-
tune it, but here's the cool thing: you get double feature, so you
but
get
don't
two movies for the
distracted
price
in
of
your
one.
car?
I don't know. I love it.
When I was a kid, there
Can
was
you
a
sneak
drive-in.
booze in there?
When I was a kid,
Definitely.
there was a drive-in at Forest and Central Expressway, and since I was a teenager, there hasn't been one close like that one. And some would get in the car, and then we would put our other friends in the trunk of the car and sneak 'em in. That's so bad.
It's funny because drive-ins are already such a good deal.
I know. Why? I think we just did it just to, But okay, well, I'll have to try and go to a.
Yeah, when I lived in New Hampshire, we used to do the drive-in a lot because they didn't have a lot of big movie
When
theaters
did you
there.
live in New Hampshire?
For 2 years when I was 10, and then we moved back when I was 12. But yeah, it was always that same thing. It was always a double feature. It was
That's
awesome.
so fun. Well, we'll have to try that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll check that out.
But
great.
you give Spider-Man.
Yeah, I thought it could have had a little more action. I was a little disappointed when it went to the whole teenage angst thing where he, loses
yeah.
the suit and
Takes his suit away, and it's almost like getting in trouble, like with your parents.
Yeah,
You know
I
our
would.
rating system?
No, I don't.
It's Oscar-worthy, popcorn-worthy, half-popped, and bag full of kernels. So what do you give it?
Okay, I say it's popcorn worthy.
Popcorn-worthy. Okay,
Yeah.
see, I'm saying mildly popcorn-worthy.
Now, I wish that they would have had a little more of him going around the city fighting the crime, that kind of thing.
Well, I think that's what he wanted to do.
Well, at first he quits the academic decathlon thing just to kind of focus on the Spider-Man duties. But you make a really good point because now that I'm sitting here trying to recall, I'm like, I can count all the action sequences. There's like
Right.
3. Yeah, you're right. There really isn't
it
that
could have
much.
been more action.
Yeah.
That was the thing that I always really liked about Spider-Man is how witty he is, yet a tough guy.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
he could do some serious damage.
Definitely.
But is always nice and witty about it, and I think it kind of lacked on that end.
What is there going to be another one with this kid?
Oh yeah, I'm fairly certain Tom Holland's Spider-Man will return in Avengers: Infinity War.
Yeah. Because
I think,
yeah, they did set it
he
up.
wasn't in Captain America: Civil War, and I think, well, I don't want to give anything away.
Yeah.
But he's still not part of the Avengers
universe,
crew,
yeah.
right?
So one thing that I kind of regretted, I didn't stay for the ending scenes. I know I was tired. I was ready to go. So what did I miss? Can you
I
tell
can
me?
tell you. There's a brief scene with Michael Keaton. He's locked up, and I can't. It's hard to describe the scene without giving the movie away.
Scene? Like,
if you stay, there's a post-credit
After the
credit.
credit.
There's actually two of them.
There's two of them. Yeah.
Shoot.
One of them is just a PSA of Captain America breaking the fourth wall, talking, which is kind of funny. And he basically says, "You just sat here for no reason." Which,
so Michael Keaton they show him like
there's
that?
an extra scene afterwards.
Oh,
Yeah.
darn it!
They do that in all of the
I
yeah,
didn't know that.
the Marvel
well, that's
movies.
Good to know. I mean, and
Yeah,
was it
it's
cute?
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, because I like that. So
It's
yeah.
really short, so I mean, I don't know that
Okay.
it's worth. But usually, it's only about 90 seconds until they pull up the post-credit scene.
Did they do that in all the Marvel
Yeah.
films? Well, see, I learned something today.
Even if you watch the end, like the Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton at the very end, there's a scene with Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark.
It's usually a teaser of what's coming up next.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was
So
a
what
teaser
did they
for-
tease on that one? More villains or?
No, I don't know that they really teased anything. It's basically you just find out that Spider-Man's identity is safe.
Well, I wish I'd known that. Okay, so I went to.
But I'm trying to think if there's any indication of something. Yeah, you're right, because they always kind of tease something else. Fast and the Furious does it too. But
I went to New York this weekend. And, I always have to go to a Madame Tussauds wax museum if there's a good one in the
I
city
love
I'm
those.
in. Can y'all see this?
Oh wow, it's the Hulk.
That's me with the Hulk. Is that the camera right there? Does
I'm gonna check this out.
Wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm in the Hulk's hands. It's so funny. But my kids are like, so my dad went with me, and my dad.
Did they have an Iron Man?
Look at him. I think there was an Iron Man. There's my dad with the Hulk. But so my kids were like, "Mom, why do you like these wax museums?" And I'm like, I think that I like acting out the characters. Like, here's me and Justin Timberlake. But like, my dad was like me. He loves movies, and I think that we like to pretend. We like to sit there with the wax figure and we talk to him and act like we're with the star.
Yeah, I always feel like this is the closest I'm going to be ever to seeing this person like in the flesh. So
But my dad was the same way. He was kind of acting it out, having his picture made. My girls were like, "Oh my god!"
You consider it like an actual experience.
Yes.
Have you ever noticed though? It always feels like they look so incredibly real at Madame Tussauds when you're like looking at it in person, and then in pictures you can never get them to look as real as they do.
I know.
When you're actually standing in front of them.
I know. Now, some of them at Madame Tussauds are better than others. I think some really do sit to be their wax done, and some I don't think.
Well, they always, a lot of times they'll have older ones
Right.
that aren't as good. Like you'll see like a Beatles one that they made a super long time ago, and yeah, it's not as accurate. Where the
New
new
York-
ones are always.
The New York Madame Tussauds is not as good as L.A. L.A. and London are the best. But
London's the
just
one
don't
I've
get
been
me.
to.
My friends on Facebook are like, "Oh my gosh," and I use some of it on Libby's Movie Hunt Facebook too. But they're like, "You're hilarious at wax museums." But one last year in the San Francisco last summer, I sat by George Clooney, and I kind of put my hand on his leg, and I put it on Facebook and said something like, "Fun visiting with you, Mr. Clooney." All these people were
Everybody
like,
thought it was
they
legit.
thought it was legitimately George Clooney. And they're like, "Why is your hand on his leg?"
Well, maybe you did get a good wax picture then.
Isn't that funny? Okay, so we're off on that tangent. Okay, y'all have anything else to say about Spider-Man?
I think I'm wrapped on Spider-Man. You guys didn't like it as much as I did, but
Yeah.
I would see it again.
Yeah, but see, I'm in the room with the right guys here. I think that movie is made for your age group.
Yeah, could be.
I mean,
But I mean, because like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man came out when I was like 16 or so, and
I love
that was
that
awesome.
one though.
Yeah, I thought that was really, really good when it
Was
came
it
out.
that long ago?
I want to say it was like 02,
That's crazy.
something like that.
I can't, and he married the mayor girl who her dad mayor of Mayor Studio Goldwyn.
Oh, Metro Mayor. Yeah.
I think we met her on that film. I think they're divorced now though.
Yeah, I think so too.
Kind of sad that I even know that tidbit. Why I know who he's married to is bizarre. Okay, you didn't see The House
No, I did not.
with Will Ferrell and Amy Poehler, which like, come on, dream team, comedy team.
Because I forgot about this, and I feel like when a movie with those kind of comedians in it that are pretty A-listers, when is that forgettable, then they didn't do a very good job marketing it.
Well, I
don't
just probably ran out of money because it only got 18% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's directed by, you and I said, Andrew J. Cohen, who he was a writer, but we don't really know anything he's directed.
Yeah, I think
Maybe
it's
a
his
first-time
directorial
director.
debut. I know he was a writer on Neighbors 1 and 2, and a couple other
Well,
movies
it's
like
pretty,
that.
I don't know if he had anything to do with writing this, but it's basically about some parents. They go through their kids' college fund. They thought they had a fund set up, and they didn't. She's going to college, to her dream college. They run out of money, and their other friend, and I need to look up his name, the other actor, he's getting a divorce. He's lost all his money, and they loved all to gamble. They have like a poker night. He's like, my wife's moved out of my house. I'm going to have to sell it. I can't pay child support, blah, blah, blah. Let's set up a casino in my house. And that sounds pretty funny.
Yeah, definitely.
And
it's a good premise.
Go, totally rogue and wild. Do look up for me who this guy's house was, their neighbor. He's an Indian guy. He's so funny. He's a comedian. I don't know if he's on, I don't know if he's a stand-up comedian. You've seen him.
Yeah, I got it pulled up right now. I'm not,
but
hold on.
It is just definitely not that great. Do you have any desire to see it?
I hate to say this just because I grew up in the 90s during the peak years of the Saturday Night Live with, Will
and
Ferrell
Amy,
and all those guys. Yeah. And I don't know that Will Ferrell's that funny anymore. It happens sometimes. I think the same thing about Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Like, it's hit a point where, I don't know, it's just...
Well, Will Ferrell occasionally, what I love is when he does that, oh my gosh, over the top.
Yeah.
Spaz. When he does that, there's only a few times in this movie. I genuinely, I have to say I laughed. I giggled throughout the movie. So that
Is it a PG-13 or an R rating?
I bet it's R, because there's a couple of raunchy scenes. Because it's parents. Yeah, I'm sure it is. Or it's a hard PG-13. But, I mean, I definitely laughed in the movie, and people were laughing. So I'm not understanding why it was 18% on Rotten Tomatoes.
But a lot of times those comedies are like that. I mean, ones that, especially, you and I have liked a bunch that had really rotten scores.
Right. So I totally,
I say if I sat there and I laughed and I was entertained, then to me, that's a good comedy.
I laughed. I mean, I give it mildly popcorn worthy. Now, my 20-year-old daughter saw it with her friends, and they were like, they didn't really like it. I think they were expecting more.
Or maybe, what I'm saying, maybe Will Ferrell is just a little past his day. But I would say the last thing I saw with him in it that I thought was really funny was The Other Guys with Mark Wahlberg. I thought that movie was great. It's pretty old now. But
yes.
And then he came out with Anchorman 2, and I went and saw Anchorman 2, and I'm like, I don't know why this just doesn't appeal to me anymore.
I know.
It just isn't funny anymore.
I mean, nothing can compare Will Ferrell in the one, Elf.
Oh, yeah. Elf and Talladega Nights are my two favorites.
Oh, gosh, that's so good. I could watch those. Oh,
I like Talladega Nights way better than either Anchorman.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think I've seen Elf probably 20 times.
Yeah, it's one that I have on all the time because during the Christmas season, TNT or TBS or one of those just plays it constantly. It's just a great one to always turn on.
It's so good. But I don't know. I kind of recommend this. I mean, if you want to laugh.
I think the way you feel about this movie is very similar to how I described the way I felt about Keeping Up with the Joneses. I didn't think it was a great comedy by any means, but I always enjoyed it. Zach Galifianakis and John Hamm, where they live next door and they're spies.
Did I see it?
I think so. I think we reviewed it together.
And I liked it okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say it's probably similar to that.
But I could say go to the theater. I don't think I would. You'd kill me if I said go see this in a theater. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you laugh. If you want to laugh, we all need to laugh. There aren't enough laughs.
That's true.
But my favorite kind of movie, as you listeners maybe know that do watch, is I like the art house films like The Beguiled. Those are my kind of
Beatrice
film. Beatrice at Dinner.
Yep.
Another film I saw that I'll tell you all about. Oh, well, no, I'll tell you about that in a minute. But let's go to this one, The Big Sick. Did you see it?
Oh, almost Big Sick. No, I've not.
You find
That's
that
what
actor's
I'm
name?
dying to see. Who's the neighbor in the house?
In the house. He is such a funny comedian.
No name is standing out that
he wasn't listed under there.
I don't think he's on here. Yeah. A
Well,
bunch
I'll
of people
look
I
it
didn't know were in there on there. Jeremy Renner and Alexandra Daddario, and
yeah, it's got
it has a lot of good people.
But I highly recommend The Big Sick. It was at Sundance Film Festival and was a Sundance favorite. It's the real life story. Of course, I'm probably going to butcher this name, Kevin. Kamal.
Yeah, I'm not even going to try this one. I think that's right.
He is a Pakistani comedian, and his true life story with his girlfriend Emily Gordon or Godin, and they end up getting married. But it's the typical Pakistan thing where his family wants him to have a planned arranged marriage, and he plays a stand-up comedian, and they keep having these arranged meetings with girls, Pakistani girls, for him to meet. But then he falls in love with this girl played by Zoe Kazan, who her parents are Nicholas and Robin Kazan, the screenwriters, and her granddad is the famous director Ella Kazan. And she's a great little actress, Zoe. And so they fall in love on the side, and his family doesn't know. And they're like, you can't marry a white girl. We will disown you. And he's like, this happened to my cousin, and I will be disowned. And so he breaks up with her for a minute. When he breaks up with her, she gets an infection. This is a true story. Goes into the hospital, and they have to put her into an induced coma. So he comes to the hospital to check on her. Her parents are there, played by Holly Hunter and
is it Ray Romano?
Ray Romano. They are so flippin' hilarious. The ensemble. So he gets to know the parents, and Holly Hunter. It's just, I haven't seen her anything this good in a while. I mean, she's a great actress. She's been around forever, since broadcast news. But and Ray Romano is just. I've been wanted him to be in something.
Oh, I know. He's someone I'm always glad to see on the screen, but just very rarely do anymore.
I think you would like this movie. It's really smartly written. I love. All the movies with his wife, Leslie Mann. Judd Apatow. Judd Apatow has something to do with this movie. He may be the producer or something on it. So it's great. If y'all haven't read his book, Sick in the Head, Judd Apatow, it's great, by the way. But
I'm a huge Judd Apatow fan.
Well, read his book, even though he's very liberal.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, a lot of people in the show business are.
We can't let that bug us. But y'all, The Big Sick is maybe Oscar worthy.
You think it's one of these like sleeper type hits, similar to say a Big Fat Greek Wedding, where it kind of came out of nowhere and now it's.
Yeah, I hope people will go
big
see it.
I think it's making big box office waves.
I'm not hearing much about it, but it is definitely 97% Rotten Tomatoes. Like you would love it, I think, because it's kids your age dating, cleverly written, funny. Y'all need to go see it.
R rating?
Yeah, R rating. It's got a.
So there's no shortage of adult.
Yes,
humor,
adult humor, but real
humor.
just smart, smart movie. And I love that it's a true story. And it's funny. You would absolutely adore it. So I highly recommend that. Another film, I always see these little art house odd films. Remember I told y'all about The Innocents last year, about those nuns that were raped in the Covenant during World War II? And
yes.
Everybody's like, oh, I'm so glad you. This is another little good sleep movie that y'all probably haven't heard of, called The Exception.
No.
With Christopher Plummer. It got 78% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's about the Kaiser Wilhelm, the Kaiser in World War II.
Yeah.
And this soldier is taken in his house to watch over, because Hitler's wanting to take the Kaiser out. And then this Lily James plays the maid, who really is a spy trying to take out. She was going to maybe take out the Kaiser. I don't know, but it's kind of this love story. And the soldier's played by Jai Courtney. He was in Suicide Squad. And
Terminator Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's so good.
A Good Day to Die Hard.
Yeah, he's great. But also Eddie Marsan, who is in, oh gosh, what is it? Liv Schreiber's show about
Ray Donovan.
Okay, the one that his arm is crippled.
Mm-hmm.
He plays Heinrich Himmler in it. And it's an Oscar-worthy.
I could see that.
Oscar-worthy performance. So doesn't that kind of sound good to you?
That does sound good.
It's like a spy thriller.
Yeah.
And it's a true story about the Kaiser being taken down. I mean, his reign as royalty. They don't kill him, but he's obviously no more in power.
Right, removed from power.
But it's called The Exception, and it's at the Angelica, and I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I definitely want to check that out. And The Big Sick.
Yeah. But I'd say The Big Sick over The Exception.
Yeah.
But I would say see The Exception just for Eddie Marsan's portrayal of Heinrich Himmler. Heinrich. It's really good.
Is it a long one?
No. It's great. It's just fantastic. So that is my little nugget of one I saw on the side there.
Sounds good.
But I don't know what else is coming up.
I will say just, because I always do my little streaming thing. So anybody planning on going out to see Spider-Man Homecoming and you are not familiar with Tom Holland as Spider-Man in any way, go to Netflix, check out Captain America Civil War. That's his first introduction to the big screen.
Wait, the kid?
Yes.
The kid is in that one?
Yep.
Is he shown, does he have the Spider-Man suit on?
Yes.
Okay.
That's where he gets the Tony Stark Spider-Man suit.
Was he bitten in, did they show that he's bitten in a spider there
No.
like they do in the Tobey Maguire? We just... Okay.
When the Avengers are basically split up and are kind of picking sides, Tony Stark goes to New York and recruits Spider-Man.
Okay, I must have not seen that one.
Well, it's on Netflix. Check it out.
Yeah, that does
It's a good one. Really good.
That doesn't remind me. It's not coming to memory at all.
If you're an Iron Man fan, it's one of his best outings.
Oh, well, hello. How did I not see it? I've got to see it then. I love him. How much time do we have? Oh, it's it. Well, see, that went fast. It always goes so fast, Kevin, and I love blabbing about movies.
Yeah, I could easily do another half hour.
I know, but thanks for tuning in every Friday to Libby's Movie Hunt, and now go enjoy the movies.